Hey guys, welcome back. You're watching the Perfect Timepiece channel. My name is Josh, and today we are going to be talking about the top 5 watches that were released at Baselworld 2017 this year. Now, if you have not looked at any of the news, I spent a few hours today basically compiling my top 5 picks from this year, so let us hop right on into it. So the first watch that I want to talk about today is actually a Grand Seiko, and Seiko had some pretty big news this year. Grand Seiko is actually going to become its own independent brand. So the watch that I chose that they actually introduced at Baselworld is the Grand Seiko SB GW 253. This is a retro redesign of the first Grand Seiko ever released back in 1960. Because it is a reissue, it's limited to 1960 pieces. The thing that I love about it is it has that minimalistic look of the first ever Grand Seiko. I chose the one in steel because it has that nice blued hand. It's really hard to get the tapering of hands correctly done just because of the way that the hands actually are balanced on the center pin of the watch. And because of this, I think Seiko, or Grand Seiko, did a great job of getting these hands to be tapered in a very razor sharp way. It is a pretty plain dial, but since it is a dress watch, I think it does get away with it really nicely. Also, I really love the text on the dial. So let me talk a little bit more about the specs. This has the 9S64 manual wind movement with 24 joules, a 72-hour power reserve, 3 bars of water resistance, and 60 Gauss of anti-magnetic resistance, or I think it's 4,800 amps per meter. This watch is also a conservatively sized 38 millimeters. It is extremely accurate, up to -3 or +5 seconds per day. And at $5,700, if I had $6,000 to spend on a watch right now, I would definitely purchase this piece because it is a reissue or a commemorative line for the first ever Grand Seiko. I do believe that this watch will be, I think it'll age well. The design, as you can tell, has already aged well since 1960, and honestly, this is probably one for all the collectors out there. So number 2, we have the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra, what is this, master chronometer. The one that I picked is actually the orange and white dial version. The Seamaster line was originally introduced in 2003, and this is the newest addition to their collection. This has the Omega Caliber 8900 movement and comes in at just about $5,000. Now, this watch has horizontal teak-like or very wooden-like stripes on the dial. This is, of course, a departure from the other Aqua Terras, which had vertical lines in the dial. This comes in at 41 millimeters and has extremely beautiful orange highlights all around the dial. I would have to say that with the railroad hands, the gray, white, and orange color scheme, this watch is incredibly, incredibly beautiful. I almost forgot to add that in this new edition of the Aqua Terra line, they have actually removed some text on the logo, and they actually moved the date wheel from the 3 o'clock position and down to the 6 o'clock position. And Joanna would be very happy, my girlfriend would be very happy. It all lines up. The date wheel actually lines up with the indices on the dial, so it's all very well balanced, and I think it's just a clean, very beautiful, beautiful look. Again, if I had $5,000, I would run out, buy it, review it for the channel. All right, let's move on to the third one. You guys know I have been really interested in dive watches, and this may or may not be a surprise to you. This is the Rado Hyperchrome Captain Cook. I think I first saw this watch from a Hodinkee post. Maybe I'll link to that in the description down below. But this is a very, very beautiful, again, another commemorative piece by Rado. And usually I'm not a big fan of Rado, although the more research I've been doing, the more I have grown to like them. It's a 1962 reissue, limited to 1962 pieces. Now, although it is a limited edition, it's only $1,800, which I think offers incredible value for the money, considering you are getting a watch with a ceramic bezel. It's a modern watch. Let me give you a few more specs. It's 37 millimeters. It has that same vintage size. It has that ceramic bezel without lume, again to mimic the vintage piece that it is trying to capture. And then it has a faked patina dial, so the indices on the dial are actually yellowed a bit right from the start. And honestly, you know, you might think that's a little bit cheesy, but hopefully I get a picture in here that accurately captures the beauty of this piece. I think it is relatively stunning. I think the dial is amazing. I think the text is well done. And honestly, this is just like the type of watch that I have been looking for. It is 11 millimeters thin. It has 100 meters of water resistance, so it's not really a diver. And it does have the C07.611 movement, which has an 80-hour power reserve. Now, of course, I actually have a watch with one of these movements. The 80-hour power reserve is achieved by basically slowing down the operation frequency from 4 Hz to 3 Hz and adding some efficiency things to the movement. So it won't be super smooth in its action, but it will have the additional power reserve. So moving on, this I think, yeah, this is the most expensive of my top 5 watches. This, of course, is a Glashütte, or something German, original Senator Excellence Perpetual calendar. This has the caliber 3602 movement, which is incredibly beautiful. Just let's take a second and just look at that movement. It is amazing. It has a day, date, month, leap year, and moon phase complication on the dial. Now, this is not coming to you at a really affordable price, although I'm sure you could argue that for the price you're getting a lot for your money. This is $22,300, and the dimensions, it's 42 millimeters wide by 12.8 millimeters thick. And it has the mixed Roman numeral and indexes on the dial. Usually I'm not a huge fan of that, but I think it actually works for this piece. Now, before I move on to the next watch, I have to point out, in addition, it has some like perlage on the face, like right below the face, and hopefully I'll be showing you a picture of that too. It just shows how much quality and how much effort goes into finishing these Glashütte pieces. Now, moving on to the last pick that I have, this is the Zenith Defy El Primero. What is this? 21, right? So it has the Zenith 21 movement. This is 41 millimeters, so the largest watch that I had suggested so far. It is made of titanium. I chose the fully skeletonized one because I do think it is very, very interesting. It costs, $9,600, and it has some very interesting features. So this watch is incredibly interesting to me because it is the only watch that operates at 5 Hertz, which is actually 10 ticks per second. Now, that is just the actual subdial for the second hand. The actual chronograph, operates at 360,000 vibrations per hour. Excuse me, totally getting mixed up here. And what that means is that actually the second hand goes all the way around the dial of the watch every single second. Now, you guys might be turned off by the skeleton case, but that is an astounding achievement. Basically, you can time things up to 1/100ths of a second accuracy, and the only bad thing is that the chronograph only has a 50-minute power reserve. So this won't time things up to hours. I think the chronograph actually only goes up to 30 minutes before it resets. And it actually has a power reserve indicator at the 12 o'clock position to let you know, you're seriously wearing out your watch here. But that is just crazy, guys. I don't know, I did research, but I think this is the first watch to actually, the first automatic watch, excuse me, to ever be able to time something to that amount of accuracy. And honestly, for just $10,000, you guys might be saying like, oh yeah, $10,000, that's a lot to spend on a watch, and it is, but to get a piece of history, if this is indeed the first watch to be able to time something like that, would just be astounding. So as you guys know, I really wanted to go to Baselworld this year. The channel wasn't quite ready for that yet. I didn't really have the funds to do that. But next year I am really planning on going and giving you full, in-depth, very comprehensive coverage, taking my camera and hopefully somebody else with me to record the full thing and bring it to you guys. So to help me realize that dream, if you're new around here, hit the bell notification down by where the subscribe button is, and that'll actually give you emails every single time I upload a new video. That'll definitely help grow the channel and make sure you guys won't miss anything. And then if you're new here and you like my vibe or what I do here, or you just like watches and you don't really care about me, then hit the subscribe button. It helps me out. It helps me make these videos for you, so you have something to watch after you get home from work. Alright guys, my name is Josh, this is the Perfect Timepiece channel, and I will see you all next time. We have 2 reviews coming out this week, so stay tuned. Bye.